President Obama took some heat for going on Jimmy Fallon's show this week. Critics said he was trying too hard to be hip and cool and going places that were beneath the office of the president. Well, those critics might not like this either. Obama is on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. The magazine's founder interviewed him. Will Cain and Roland are here to talk about that interview. Guys, one thing that stood out to us was this quote from the president. He was asked about climate change and the Keystone's pipeline, and NASA's leading climate scientist, and said it would mean game over for the planet. In response to all of that, Mr. Obama said, and I quote, "Part of the challenge over these past 3 years has been that people's number one priority is finding a job and paying the mortgage and dealing with high gas prices. In that environment, it's been easy for the other side to pour millions of dollars into a campaign to debunk climate change science. I suspect that over the next 6 months, this is going to be a debate that will become part of the campaign, and I will be very clear in voicing my belief that we're going to have to take further steps to deal with climate change in a serious way." Okay, so liberals might be rejoicing, Roland Martin, but some might say, why get into all of that when it's the economy? It's always about the economy.
Well, first of all, there are conservatives also who recognize the need to deal with our climate. Keep in mind, Newt Gingrich sat down with Nancy Pelosi to also talk about this very issue. Look, bottom line is here. We can try to deny the reality of our climate in this country having a problem, but at some point it's going to catch up with us. And Carol, the problem for Americans, we are naturally reactionary. We wait for things to blow up. We wait for things to get to hit rock bottom before we go, now let's actually deal with it. That's always been our problem. That's the same problem, I think, on this story as well.
It is a hot button issue, though, isn't it, Will? And it's a deeply partisan issue, and I'm just wondering why. Why can't we just talk about it?
Okay, well, you mind if I address your first question, Roland, first, and then I'll come to that. I won't filibuster. Let me say this. It's a very interesting admission by President Obama in that article that he recognizes that the number one issue among voters is the economy. But he won't forget or let you forget that he spent the first 6 months debating a cap-and-trade bill on carbon emissions and restructuring 1/6 of the American economy in health care. And if you forget, he's going to remind you that he's going to double down this election cycle and talk about the climate again. So where is this importance of the economy that he recognizes that voters see? I don't understand his dedication to that. Carol, let me say this to your second question. Why is this hot button? Because of this right here. We can debate. First of all, there's no debate that the climate is changing. It would be odd if it didn't. The debate is whether or not man is contributing to that change, whether or not we can do anything significant to affect that change, and fourth, whether or not what we can do to affect possible man-made climate change is worth the cost. But we won't have that elevated debate. We won't have those because what we'll do is listen to critical thinkers like Debbie Wasserman Schultz or Chris Matthews say Republicans don't believe in science, and we'll be done.
But you have to admit, Roland, go ahead, because I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that a lot of Republicans who once believed in climate change and that some of it was caused by man have now backtracked. Why is that, Roland?
No, that's actually not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is I'm not listening to political people. I'm listening to people who are scientists. I'm listening to people who actually have taken the time to get educated on this issue, and I listen to them. Here's what we have to recognize in this country, Carol. Anytime you talk about climate change, the natural reaction is, oh my God, it's going to cost us jobs. That is the kryptonite to any conversation about change in this country. And so when Will says, or anybody else says that, hey, is man contributing to it? Guess what? After it's too late, then we can say, man, bummer, we should have done something. Maybe some people are saying, let's not wait till it's too late.
Well, what do you have to say to that?
I just want to be clear. Kryptonite to the climate change conversation is to talk about its potential cost.
No. Anytime you want to shut down any conversation in this country when it comes to changing anything is jobs. When they talk about student loans, cutting out the middleman, guess what they said, Carol? They said, oh, we can't do that. It's going to cost jobs. That's always the natural reaction.
You deny that?
But can you deal with... But here's the deal. I want to be able to breathe, Will. And so I can't go to a job if I'm having a problem breathing, if I'm having a problem when it comes to water. And so, yeah, those things are important too.
Okay, so let me just say this. If I accept your premise that man is causing climate change, which I don't, but for this debate I will.
I didn't say cause.
And by your rationale, hold on, Roland. hold on, Roland. If I accept your premise that man is causing climate change and that the costs don't matter, let's just say this. If we put every single person in the United States, for that matter the world, out of work and halt all economic growth, but we could clean up the air, would it be worth it?
That is the nonsense when we have this debate. You want to go to
right.
this extreme.
No, let's not measure costs.
No, wait, one second. When you say put everyone out of work, that is a nonsensical statement. So, Will, don't do the histrionics and try to earn an Academy Award right now for acting.
No. I'm walking you through logic. I'm not doing histrionics. I'm walking you through a logical process here. When you negate costs.
No. It's not a question of negating costs.
Let Will have his say one at a time. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, this isn't, because so we can be on the same page on this debate, Roland, this isn't histrionics. This is logic. When you say cost is kryptonite to a conversation, I take you to the far end of that spectrum and see if you still agree. You see, if you could put every person out of work but fix the air, then would you be for that? I think you'd come back to me and say, no, the cost is too great, which says to me,
I call that histrionics.
Don't measure cost is nonsense.
So this is very simple, and that is, can you have a balance? Can you have some form of balance? The problem is
balance between
folks,
what? Between what?
One second. You have folks who do not want to have a climate discussion, who don't want to achieve balance. They say
but balance
no
between
to
what?
anything. Well, balance between what is a cost, but also how do you also save lives?
We're going to have to leave it there.
Saving lives matter.
Okay, wait a second. We're going to have to leave it there. We'll let you two continue the argument behind the scenes, and maybe you'll come to fisticuffs, and I want to hear about it later. But it's been a fascinating conversation. Thanks as always.
Thanks a bunch.
Thanks.